Hello and welcome to Tuesday's programme.
Coming up tonight between now and 6:30.
Good evening. Cornwall Council has been fined after a vulnerable teenager who went to them for help was given a tent to sleep in for 5 weeks.
The 17-year-old, who can't be named, also spent a month in a caravan and several nights sleeping rough. He was later detained in a psychiatric hospital.
The council says he turned down the offer of accommodation, but an investigation found a long list of failures which had dreadful consequences. Steve Hardy is at County Hall in Truro for us. Steve, a shocking story. Next tonight, residents in Dawlish are concerned that plans to raise the seawall will obstruct the view. Work to repair and protect the rail line at Dawlish will begin in the next few days.
The route missed out on any extra funding in yesterday's budget, but this afternoon engineers were in the town to explain to residents what they've done so far. Richard Lawrence is in Dawlish for us this evening. Richard, tell us about what was revealed today.
Now, a young boy from Plymouth who's become the figurehead of a cancer charity since being diagnosed with the disease has been told he's now cancer-free. 9-year-old
Henry Hallam was just 3 years old when he was first diagnosed with neuroblastoma. His parents initially began fundraising to send him to America for treatment. When his cancer stabilised, they began supporting other families going through treatment. Jackie Bird has the story.
Good news for Henry. Let's move on to other news now. Avon and Somerset Police are looking for a man in connection with the death in Bridgewater. Tyrone
A student from Exeter has been released on bail after being detained in the United Arab Emirates. Matthew Hedges. Now, a petition signed by thousands calling for the future of Appledore Shipyard to be secured has been handed into the House of Commons.
There's been a shipyard in the North Devon village for more than 160 years, but there are fears that 200 employees could lose their jobs if it's closed by the owners Babcock International. Well, for more on this, we can speak to our political correspondent David Wood in Westminster. David, there's clearly a strong feeling about this. A teenager from Minehead in Somerset is making a film addressing some of the misconceptions that people have about young adult carers.
There are almost 400,000 young people growing up with caring responsibilities for their parents and other family members, and in rural communities it can be particularly isolating. Sophie has joined Fixers, the campaign that gives young people a voice.
Sophie Elston's story there. Now you're watching ITV News here in the West Country. Still to come on tonight's programme before 6:30.
And the ITV News continues with the national and international stories at 6:30. Mary Nightingale has the details.
But next tonight, as part of Black History Month, we've been looking back at the only recorded instance of racial segregation in Devon when black US soldiers were based in Exeter during the Second World War.
Thousands of African-American GIs were stationed in St Thomas in the months before D-Day, where they were kept apart from their white counterparts. Nick Smith has been investigating their story.
Now, it's weather time in a moment, but before that, the celebrities were out in force last night at the Pride of Britain National Awards ceremony, and Barnstable's Terry Baker was among them.
Yeah, Terry, of course, has raised almost £600,000 for Children's Hospice South West with his annual mini rallies, and he was our Pride of Britain regional winner. Sangeeta Lal has more.
Yeah, and don't forget the Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards in partnership with TSB will be broadcast on ITV on Tuesday, the 6th of November at 8 o'clock. It's next Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic occasion as well. But it is weather time now. Charlie's at the Met Office in Exeter for us this evening. Charlie, another cold day, pretty clear though. A decade ago, very different. OK, Charlie, thanks very much indeed. Now, before we leave you, let's remind you of the main headlines here in the West Country this evening.
Well, that's it from all of us for now. I'll be back with the late news at the usual time of 10:30.
After the break, the ITV News continues with Mary Nightingale. But from all of us, have a lovely evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.